Today, on the eve of the 13th anniversary of the worst terror attack on US soil, the false flag that is known as 9/11, a friend of mine sent me a series of text messages asking if I'm still a pale-faced basement dweller when it comes to 9/11. He went on to ask me if my tinfoil hat-wearing friends were coming round for a tinfoil hat-wearing party tomorrow. I replied by asking him certain questions about 9/11, such as how can he explain Building 7 and the fact that the National Institute of Standards and Technology have admitted that the first 2 seconds of Building 7's collapse was in fact at freefall speed, and that for that to happen 80 columns had to give way within 0.1 seconds of each other. How can he explain that by fire? He couldn't. He didn't have a clue. He just kept replying that what I sent him was simply absurd. He does believe the official version, the official conspiracy theory of 9/11, 100%. But the thing is, this friend of mine is really intelligent. He's a lovely guy. He isn't some muppet who couldn't give a toss about this. He's no Jeremy Kyle Guest. He's not into X Factor. He doesn't like The Only Way is Essex. He isn't into the latest fad or Miley virus. And he's not even into Justin Bieber. In fact, he's a bit of a news hound. He loves his news, but he will only stick to the mainstream media. Full stop. But today it got me thinking that unless we can awaken people like this guy, then I just simply don't think we have a chance. May sound a bit negative, but that's just the way I feel at the minute. You may say that we only need a critical mass and that people like him don't matter, but it's people like him that do matter in my eyes, because I tell you now, if he woke up to the fact that 9/11 was an inside job, he would be the type of person who would get on his bike to Westminster to confront his MP, leaving the very second it finally dawned on him. And it's these people that we need. We need people to take action. We don't need more pricks sat around with masks on ranting. We need people who are gonna take action. The trouble is that collectively we're just too comfortable. It hasn't got bad enough for us yet to do anything serious about the criminals that are looking to enslave us. I find it simply amazing that the official conspiracy theory of 9/11 hasn't been exposed more widely. The whole official story is just that, a story. It's make-believe. And people actually believe this shit? Like my mate, it's unbelievable. People are either becoming more awake or becoming more embroiled and more embedded into the system. Bigger resistance to anything other than what they've been told by the man on the telly. My buddy will simply not listen to anything outside of his media bubble. And if he does hear a negative story, he spins it in his own mind to make him feel better. Maybe it's a defense mechanism, I don't know. Maybe subconsciously he can't cope with the world the way it is. Maybe it's him and people like him that need to make sense of the world, as that arsehole David Aranovich would say. And it's not the so-called conspiracy theories that have got it wrong and that are all fucked up, it's the people who believe the mainstream media. I think society has lost all comprehension of what the words conspiracy theory actually mean. I was a young chap once, believe it or not, and the conspiracy back then was, ooh, did we land on the moon? Ooh, are there UFOs? Or, ooh, who shot JFK? But nowadays, anyone who questions anything from the mainstream media is deemed a conspiracy theory. It's a joke. When you have scientific evidence of Building 7 falling at free fall speed and people still won't accept it or even listen to the evidence, 13 years on, I'm sorry to say, I just do not think that we will ever get a breakthrough on 9/11, at least not in my time, or it would have happened by now. The only chance we have is a complete overhaul of our political system. But even the MP selection process is corrupt as the day is long, because you can only become a candidate if you agree to do as your leader tells you. You don't do what the people who voted you into that position want you to do. No, no, no. You only get the candidacy of being a mainstream party MP if you do what your leader tells you to do. We collectively don't want change enough. Another example is 7/7. For fuck's sake, Peter Powell was running a terror training drill on 7/7 that envisaged the exact same bombs going off at the exact same time at the exact same place as what actually took place. That's not a coincidence, that's a fucking impossibility, unless he's part of the conspiracy. But people just dismiss that as fantasy. Peter Powell himself even came out and admitted it on 5 Live and Sky News. And yet it's still fantasy in most people's eyes, including my friend's eyes. He thinks I'm insane for questioning 7/7, as with 9/11. I've got a bad feeling about the next few days, because they've been laying the groundwork for something big that they say could happen over the 9/11 anniversary period. What will it be? I don't know. But they want us to believe, in all seriousness without laughing, that 11 jetliners have just vanished from Tripoli in Libya. We've also had nuclear weapons go missing from Dulles Air Force Base in America. We've had Obama saying that he's worried about a nuke going off in New York, so God only knows what they're planning. But what I do know is this: if something does happen, then this will dwarf 9/11 and our planet will simply never be the same again. I hope to God I'm wrong.